Hi, You Can Heal family. Welcome back to another reading of the Old Testament. So today we're looking at 1 Samuel chapters 27 and 28. So when I glanced down at the first couple of sentences, it's exactly what I was thinking. Saul is being super nice because remember yesterday he was like, he admitted his guilt. He's like, okay, I'm done chasing after you, and look at this. We're in 1 Samuel chapter 27. My name's Shena, by the way, if it's your first time coming on. And the first sentence says, but David kept thinking to himself, someday Saul is going to get me, right? Because Saul's just being really, really nice after so much time of hating him and wanting to kill him. So David's like, in the back of his mind, he's like, hey, listen, I'm not putting all my eggs on this guy. Like, is that the right term? I'm not putting all my trust in Saul. And David's like, someday Saul's going to get me. The best thing for me to do is escape to the Philistines. Then Saul will stop hunting for me, and I will finally be safe. So David's still trying to figure out how to get out of this thing. It says David took his 600 men and their families and went to live at Gath under the protection of King Achish. David brought his 2 wives along with him, Ahinoam and Jezreel. Ahinoam of Jezreel and Abigail of Carmel, Nabal's widow. Word soon reached Saul that David had fled to Gath, so he stopped hunting for him. I'm still stuck on the 2 wives. Those poor ladies. I mean, I guess they just had to put up with each other, tolerate each other, but what a mess. What a mess. Verse 5, one day David said to Achish, if it is all right with you, we would rather live in one of the country towns instead of here in the royal city. So Achish gave him the town of Ziklag, which still belongs to the kings of Judah to this day. And they lived there among the Philistines for a year and 4 months. All right, so that was the king that gave them that place. In verse 8, David and his men spent their time raiding the Jezreelites and Girzites and the Amalekites, people who had lived near Shur along the road of Egypt since ancient times. Okay, I think I'm reading kind of weird. Is it coming across like that? Sorry, you guys. I was just on the phone with the web developer, honestly, for like 45 minutes before I got on here. And that thing wore me slam out. Just all the back and forth. But in any event, let me keep going. We're talking, well, let me just let you know, we were talking, look at my Bible. We were talking about the website for the nonprofit that I've created and I'm trying to get up and going, and some updates on my ShenaMajor.com, and I just feel tired. So I think I'm reading like babbling. You just gotta take it. God, if this is your first time, please come back. Let me get focused. Let me take my deep breath. Okay, so you guys, actually check out this fun fact. I was in the doctor's office getting my wrist looked at, the urgent care, whatever, yesterday. And across their screen, they had all these like health tips. And one of them was like, did you know that when you inhale, you only inhale through one nostril, not both? So if you wanted to know, now you do. Every time you inhale, it's just through one nostril. And I don't know how that happens, but that's what the research says. Okay, so now let's get back to our Bible. Verse 8. David and his men spent their time raiding the Geshurites, the Girzites, and the Amalekite people who lived near Shur along the road to Egypt since ancient times. David didn't leave one person alive in the villages he attacked. He took the sheep, cattle, donkeys, camels, and clothing before returning home to see King Achish. Where did you make your raid today? Achish would ask. And David would reply, against the south of Judah, the Jerahmeelites and the Kenites. There's so many ites. No one was left alive to come to Gath and tell where he had really been. This happened again and again while he was living among the Philistines. Achish believed David and thought to himself, by now the people of Israel must hate him bitterly. Now he will have to stay here and serve me forever. Oh, I was so distracted in that video because every time I'm reading this king's name, it sounds like a quiche, like something you're going to eat. Like I'm going to eat a quiche. I have no idea. Maybe it's a quiche. I don't know. I should really just start this over, but I don't know. I'd study the Bible with me, so this is, I guess, what I'd be thinking to myself if I wasn't reading with you guys. David was actually attacking the enemies of Judah while leading Achish to believe the opposite. The Bible reports the deception without approving it on the destruction of innocent people. Well, hey, listen, I read it. I did. I read chapter 27. Now, if you want to go back and read it for yourself, go right ahead, but it sounds like David went to the Philistines, but he was being deceitful and destroying people's lives. I don't know. Sorry, y'all. I'm moving on to chapter 28. About that time, the Philistines mustered their armies for another war with Israel. King Achish told David, you and your men will be expected to join me in battle. Very well, David agreed. Now you will see for yourself what we can do. Then Achish told David, I will make you my personal bodyguard for life. God does not answer Saul. This is the next section in verse 3. Meanwhile, Samuel had died, and all Israel had mourned for him. He was buried in Ramah, his hometown, and Saul had banned all mediums and psychics from the land of Israel. The Philistines set up their camp at Shena, and Saul and the armies of Israel camped at Gilboa. Oh no, my air conditioner just kicked in. When Saul saw the vast Philistine army, he became frantic with fear. He asked the Lord what he should do, but the Lord refused to answer him, either by dreams or by sacred lots or by the prophets. Saul then said to his advisors, find a woman who is a medium so I can go and ask her what to do. His advisors replied, there is a medium at Endor. Now why would... See, God didn't answer Saul, so now he's going to a medium, and stay clear away from that. Saul visits the medium. So Saul disguised himself by wearing ordinary clothing instead of his royal robe. So if you have to disguise yourself and dress up to try to look like something else, then you probably shouldn't be doing this. Right? Now let's look at that in practical living. If you're like going somewhere and you've got to sneak around or hide, or you don't want to tell anybody you're doing something, you probably shouldn't be doing it, right? So Saul disguises himself. I have to talk to a man who has died, he said. Will you call up his spirit for me? Are you trying to get me killed? The woman demanded. You know that Saul has expelled all the mediums and psychics from the land. Why are you setting a trap for me? So here Saul is, who doesn't even allow mediums and psychics, and he's disguising himself going to one. But Saul took an oath in the name of the Lord and promised, as surely as the Lord lives, nothing bad will happen to you for doing this. Finally, the woman said, well, whose spirit do you want me to call up? Call up Samuel, Saul replied. When the woman saw Samuel, she screamed, you've deceived me. You are Saul. Don't be afraid, the king told her. What do you see? I see a god coming up out of the earth, she said. What does he look like? Saul asked. He's an old man wrapped in a robe, she replied. Saul realized that it was Samuel, and he fell to the ground before him. Why have you disturbed me by calling me back? Samuel asked. Because I am in deep trouble, Saul replied. The Philistines are at war with us, and God has left me and won't reply by prophets or dreams. So I have called for you to tell me what to do." But Samuel replied, "Why ask me if the Lord has left you and has become your enemy? The Lord has done just as he said he would. He has taken the kingdom from you and given it to your rival David." Oh boy. The Lord had done this because you did not obey his instructions concerning the Amalekites. What's more, the Lord will hand you and the army of Israel over to the Philistines tomorrow, and you and your sons will be here with me. Now remember, Samuel has left the earth. So when he says, "You and your sons will be here with me," that means the Lord's about to take them out. It says, "The Lord will bring the entire army of Israel down in defeat." Verse 20. Saul fell full length on the ground, paralyzed with fright because of Samuel's words. He was also faint with hunger, for he had eaten nothing all day and all night. When the woman saw how distraught he was, she said, "Sir, I obeyed your command at the risk of my life. Now do what I say, and let me give you something to eat, so you can regain your strength for the trip back." But Saul refused. The men who were with him also urged him to eat, so he finally yielded and got up from the ground and sat on the couch. They have couches back then? Maybe that's couch? No, it's not that. Couch. I don't know. The women had been... I can't believe I just pronounced that way. Oh my God. Verse 24. The woman had been fattening a calf, so she hurried out and killed it. She kneaded dough and baked unleavened bread. She brought the meal to Saul and his men, and they ate it. Then they went out into the night. Now this woman was hustling. She had been fattening a calf. She killed it. Then she kneaded dough and baked the unleavened bread. So that's a lot of cooking. I don't do all that. All right, that was kind of a weird reading, you guys. And that's just the truth. So I don't know. You're just going to have to get to know me, all of me, and love me just as I am. Because God does, right? He does. The one thing I did get out of this today is, like, don't be sneaky. If you've got to hide and disguise yourself and do things in secret, then you probably shouldn't be doing it, okay? Whatever it is, just cut it out and just repent and go before the Lord and ask him to show you a better way to accomplish what it is you're trying to do, or if you need to let something go from your life or whatever it is. But let's not be deceitful here. And, let's do what the Lord wants from us. And be honest. Just be honest, okay? And tomorrow we'll look at verse 29. David is kept from fighting Saul. So Saul is back, probably after David, because now Saul's fearing for his life, right? So we'll see what's up with that tomorrow. Okay, You Can Heal family. So that's it. I know I was a little bit all over the place today, but hey, nobody's perfect. We'll talk again. Oh my gosh, sorry. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Always remember, true healing begins with self-love. Why? Because God is love and he lives on the inside of you. Now look, my daughter's blowing up my phone. We were supposed to go college shopping right after, I got done working, but then I got stuck on that call. I guess they're ready to go. So let me get out of here. I love you. We'll talk tomorrow. Bye.